Prices are up for everything, and rent is no exception. We have seen rental rates increase almost more than housing prices. So as we start to enter the shift of the market and prices of housing are starting to come down, is there a rental correction coming as well? The answer might surprise you. Over time, prices of things increase. That's normal. But what was really unprecedented was the fact that rental rates soared almost higher than housing prices did during the pandemic. In fact, what drove a lot of buyers into the market during that time was the fact that with interest rates as low as they were, a mortgage could ultimately be cheaper than the rent you were paying. I was curious just how much rents had changed in our local area, so I went to our MLS for Alachua County, and here's what I found. Going all the way back to 2012, the average rent was $1,062. Let's jump up a little bit to 2020 when the pandemic hit. 2020, the average rental rate was $1,352. In 2021, it jumped up to $1,463, and in 2022, the average rent was $1,701. In a matter of 3 years, that is a massive increase, an increase we didn't even see over almost 10 years prior to that. And those massive increases were definitely fueled by the pandemic and by the massive demand for housing. Whatever the market will bear, right? If people are gonna pay $1,700 for a house, they're gonna charge it. So it begs the question, as pricing starts to drop a little bit and the market begins to cool and the shift is already here, is that going to reflect in rental prices? Honestly, I'm not seeing that as of yet. What I think we're going to see is a similar pattern to housing, where values are gonna hold, but we're not gonna see these massive year-over-year appreciations. And part of that is gonna come back to demand, because as interest rates for mortgages are increasing, a lot of people are deciding to stay and rent. So the demand for rental properties is still high, which is always gonna drive price. And right now in Alachua County, the average asking price for a rental that is active is over $2,000 a month. And remember, that's the average. Depending upon the size of the unit, some are $500 and some are $6,000. But what we're seeing is that the average amount that's being asked for right now is higher than the average of the year before. So if your lease is getting ready to come to an end, should you buy a house? I can't tell you that. As your lease comes up for renewal this year, it's a really good time to have a conversation. Have a conversation with a realtor, with a local lender, and see what the numbers are. Because is it a better time to buy instead of rent? I don't know. Everybody's different. But if you never ask the question, you'll never know. And rent, you're still paying a mortgage. It's just somebody else's. If paying a mortgage for yourself sounds enticing, be sure to check out these 3 strategies that you can use as a buyer in today's market. I'm Lindsey Johnson, your resource for all things real estate. See you next time.